It's a thing.
I was rocking socks like this way before Trudeau. Trudeau wants to be me. No, I guess it's an easy, inexpensive way to like express some personal flair.
Interesting. And you feel it goes well with the suit?
I do. Maybe Anthony doesn't.
Why are you here?
I'm here in support of the PMI Mentorship Program. I truly believe that this is a phenomenal program that really helps people, so much more than getting PDUs and that kind of thing. The mentors have the ability to get just as much out of this as the mentees, and the ability for mentees to come in here and work so closely with some phenomenal people is unparalleled. Where else can someone in a professional setting get that kind of mentorship structured without, I don't know how else somebody would do something like that. So that kind of opportunity, I think, is unparalleled, and I don't see any reason that shouldn't be fully supported. So I think it's a no-brainer for us at Procom to be as involved as possible.
Why do you think, or what kind of value do you think mentors can take out of it?
I believe that because I've mentored people myself in my life, not professionally, but in my personal life, and it's surprising how much you can get out of being a mentor. Personal satisfaction, but also personal growth. It's not necessarily easy being a mentor, and it's an opportunity to grow and improve and develop a lot of personal skills yourself to be a good mentor.
Are you a mentor to these gentlemen we have with us?
No, definitely not.
Is he not?
I think he's a mentor.
Yeah?
He shows me how to dress well.
Coming, look at winners.
This is now a fashion blog.
Last question.
Sure.
Conor McGregor. Why are you involved currently with this program, with mentorship and with PMI?
Yeah, so I've found a lot of the people I've been kind of placing and dealing with have been project managers, and I've found they have been incredible people to work with. I feel like project managers are just very good communicators, they're very good people, and they seem to have a very good heart. And I have always found myself, if I see a project manager role get released, I'm jumping on that, because I love that role. I love dealing with those people, I love interviewing them, because they pick up the phone and they're friendly. So when Kyle told me about the PMI event, and he told me he could use some help on it, and then at the time he mentioned that they were looking to make some content as well, I was like, yeah, I'd like to get involved in this. I'd like to meet some of these project managers face to face and have them in my network, because like who doesn't want some friendly, nice, confident, good people in their life? So yeah, this is my first session, and I'm enjoying it so far. Well, my name is Zachary O'Rourke, and I come from Ireland. As I announced earlier to the class of people that I moved over here to Vancouver in September. So this is my a big move over here.
So as a newcomer to Vancouver and to Canada in general, why did you pick to work with Procom?
So my background is computer science and IT. I've been doing software development for the past 5 years, and I love to talk, I love to work with people. I really just love to use my communication skills. So I kind of came over here having absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I was on the flight from Ireland to Vancouver thinking, wow, right, I better find a job now. So I really just kind of researched, I guess put my skills into a computer and start researching the net, and I came across Procom at the time. I looked into what they did, they were IT staffing and what they were looking for, and I thought, like my background with IT and having such a good knowledge of software development and coding, and but then also my love for communication, I was like, I think I'd be a good recruiter. So I just put my resume forward, having no experience on my career, and just kind of hope they'd see my skill set. So I got invited in to meet my boss Lucas, and he sat me down and interviewed me, and we went over everything, and it just went so well. He wants recruiters on the team that know what they're talking about, that understand who they're talking to, and I guess that just lined up for him, and it lined up for me, and I haven't looked back since. So.
And apart from the job and the specifics of the role, how's life at Procom in general? Because I saw the banter between you and your colleagues at the session.
Yeah, Procom is a funny place. It's very energetic. It's like between me, Dave, and there's a few Irish in the Procom as well. It's a lot of banter. We have some good fun when we're in between calls, and when a job comes out, we're very much like teamwork. And I don't know. I think what I like about Procom is we all believe in just enjoying our job. So I would happily spend a lot of my time with my colleagues. I spend a lot of time with my colleagues outside of work and inside of work. So that way my work is more of a work-life balance, in the sense that I enjoy what I do. So Procom is just it's just a nice environment to work in. We build great relationships with our candidates that we place on jobs as well. And and because of that, I'm just happy doing what I do, because I'm a big believer in doing something you love. I didn't come over to Vancouver to do something I didn't love. So it's given me that, thank God.
Last question.
Sure.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, why does everyone? Yeah, he's an interesting man. Do you want to know? Do I like him? Do I hate him?
That was my question.
I was a big supporter of Conor McGregor right up until I think October of last year. Because he gives Ireland a real, come on, let's do this. He's such a good fighter, but I can't condone his actions outside of the ring. He's just a bit crazy in the head. And I promise you, not all Irish are like that. He's one of a kind. Just all I'm saying, he's a great fighter, and I don't condone him outside the ring.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Have someone that's got an interview for a job that we're putting them forward for. I always like to meet them in person, go over some interview prep with them, and just give them some insight into what the client is working on, give them some interview tips. Sometimes people are the most qualified candidate, but if they're not prepared for the interview, they won't be successful. It's not always the best candidate that wins, it's the best prepared candidate that wins. So,
how do you feel that you help them prepare for the interview?
It can be simple tips like answering behavioral questions. A lot of people still don't know how to answer a behavioral question. What I mean when I say is,
can you give us an example?
Yeah, for example, a behavioral question would be, how do you deal with conflicts in the workplace? What many people will do is say exactly how they would deal with it. What the client usually is looking for is for them to say, number one, how they would deal with it, but then to provide 1 to 2 examples, one from a professional situation, or two from a professional situation, drawing from your past experience. If you can't think of a professional situation, give one from your personal life, from your essentially everyday life, and that works as a good example as well.
2 more questions. Number one, what's one thing interesting about Procom that I cannot find online or I cannot learn about Procom online, and I would only be able to know by being in the office with you guys?
One thing interesting about Procom. One thing I would say is we probably have one of the best views in the city from our office. So you'll have to come by and meet us in person to see that. You're invited anytime. It's right across the street.
Beers in the fridge.
Beers in the fridge, yeah.
This is now a fashion blog.
And how have the past 3 years been for you, as in terms of partnership between PMI, mentorship, and Procom?
Yeah, it's been really rewarding on a personal level for sure to be involved, to see these folks get great reward out of this, to work closely with Mike and Zahra over the past 3 years, and look forward to working with you, Anthony. It's been great on a personal level, and I think on a professional level for Procom, it's been wonderful to raise our visibility in the project manager market space in Vancouver, and I think that that's important as we grow here at Procom Vancouver branch. It's important for us to not just increase our visibility, but maintain a visible presence and remind people that we're here for the long term. We're a solid, stable organization that wants to partner with them for the long term.
Tell me how you partner with them. Tell me a bit about how Procom helps people create value in their lives and their careers.
Sure, so there's a lot of ways that Procom can help create value for individuals in their career search, whether that's initially from resume guidance and coaching, to interview preparation, guidance and coaching, through to career placement, career coaching. But it's so much more for us. Typically, it's about relationships and relationship management and long-term thinking. So we want to have the opportunity to work with people, help them find success in the short term, and also maintain those relationships and continue to work with them over and over again, have them refer their peers and colleagues and other individuals to work with us, and have a long-term view of how we can partner with people.
Can you give me an example of a long-term partnership with someone you have currently?
Yeah, I think David has a really good example of an individual that has worked with Procom for over 30 years. Is that right?
Yeah. He's actually based out of Toronto, but first time I spoke to him, he said that he actually worked with Frank, the CEO.
The original president, founder, and CEO of Procom. This one contractor worked with him
when he was a recruiter, when Frank was a recruiter, which was 1978, and he's been placed in various different positions through Procom over 30 times.
30 different positions Procom has helped this individual get. That's pretty amazing partnership.
Yeah.
He's a lifer.
I was not hoping for a better story.
Yeah, he's got like Procom tattooed right here. He just doesn't know it. Yeah. So that's one great example of long-term relationships, and I can't think of a more phenomenal example than that. But those types of examples, there's tons that are very similar, where we help people year over year if they're contractors work a 12-month engagement and help them establish another contract engagement prior to that one wrapping up, and they're able to string projects together. Or if they're full-time employees, and we get them a position, they move on, they come back to us, or they're in a hiring position, and then because their experience with Procom as a recruitment agency was so positive that they want to come back to us to help them find people to be employed by them. There's countless examples of that kind of thing.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent. Are you?
Pretty good. I actually just came from a mentorship meeting.
Tell me about it.
Well, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus because of summer, and so we had some time to kind of reflect, think about our first 2 meetings. This was our 3rd meeting, and we discussed some. My mentor's been walking me through building a project plan, like in situ. You know, using an example from my workplace with some details removed, of course, and kind of with her years of experience, guiding me on how to build that plan out. You know, focusing on what needs some work, and it's been really productive. Yeah.
Why do you think you and your mentor picked each other?
You know, I don't know why. Just a glimmer in her eye and the timbre of my voice. I don't really know. I think we hit it off. To be honest, I picked her because when we were talking in the initial pairings here, she used some language that I was looking for someone who was very PMI aligned, who used terms like scope, schedule, and budget, the iron triangle, who didn't just want to tell me stories, but wanted to tell me stories within the context of the Project Management Institute's framework and how it relates to getting my PMP and studying for that, making progress and staying aligned to kind of the best practices. And I think she kind of caught that from me, that was what my interest was. And just interpersonally, we had a good connection. We were able to talk about what we're interested in, but also have a social connection. There's a few factors, I think.
If you had to pick the most challenging thing so far in that partnership, what would that be?
To be honest, there hasn't been anything really challenging too much yet. I mean, scheduling, we've just negotiated some time that works for us. When it hasn't worked, we've been able to reschedule. We found a nice balance, I think, between kind of social and business, and I think maybe the most challenging thing has been keeping the time short and like parting ways at the end, because there's so much to discuss. She wants to share stories, I want to learn more. She wants to give me advice, I'm eager to learn, and it's been tough to keep it short. Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Very good.
How was the session?
It was excellent.
Yeah? Why?
I thought it was just good talking to all the mentees and getting to know them. Had some really good conversations, learned about their background, and I feel like as a mentor, there's definitely all of them. There are areas where I can help for sure.
Why did you want to be a mentor?
Well, I've actually been a mentor a couple times already in the past, I think 3 or 4 times, and I've always just found it just an amazing experience. Prior to that, I was a mentee probably 3 or 4 times as well. Yeah, so I remember just feeling so blessed, to have them donating their time and giving me that expertise. And I was able to get a leg up by talking to them, and I just feel, that I should be giving back and doing the same to less experienced project managers.
How was the experience in the program from the perspective of a mentee and then from the perspective as a mentor?
Yeah, I think the first time as a mentee, it was kind of scary because I didn't know what to expect. But I think the way that the program is run, it's very easy because you're told here, especially the matching session, right? It's basically just a conversation, and figuring out who the people are that you're going to have that good match with and a good rapport with. And once you figure that out, then it's just logistics and, are they in the right industry? And once I've always been able to find a good match, so that's good.
Do you get anything out of the program as a mentor?
Yeah, as a mentor, you get to revisit things that you've forgotten or that you're a little rusty on, right? I mean, after you've been doing things for so long, you just kind of do them automatically and you don't even think. And a mentee might ask you, well, what does the PM box say about that? And you're like, I don't know. I haven't looked at that section in years. So you get to go back and review it, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is just going back and kind of refreshing your memory on things that you just haven't worked with in a long time, or that you're just not that familiar with because your particular domain and projects haven't touched that recently.
Would you do this again, the program again, as a mentor?
Oh, absolutely. I do it anytime I can.
I'm very excited to be where I am today.
Why?
So, because I'm excited. I am excited about the people who I met today, and while talking to potential mentors, I learned already so much.
Okay.
And that's a great start, I guess.
That's an excellent start. Did you enjoy the session?
Absolutely,
Why?
100%. Because I was involved in very interesting conversation, and by questions that potential mentors asked me, I started discovering myself and what I really want, and they were leading me and I was trying to think, okay, what's my true purpose? What do I really want to get out of this program? Because some of my direction changed since I come here. Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked a different protege.
Absolutely.
Do you know already who your top 1, 2, 3 mentors will be?
Absolutely.
What do you think differentiated the top 1% from the others in terms of them being a better fit for you?
I think it's amount of knowledge and experience and ability to present and talk. So this was like my main pick, like the ability to present and involve me into the conversation and make it interesting and resourceful for me.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you learn about this?
So I joined PMI maybe a year ago. So, and I just attended like few events there and there. But this time, I guess it's time for me to change. It's time for me to grow. It's time for me to finally gain the right skills and right knowledge. So I guess this program will be a right start for me to make a huge step in my future and make me a better and resourceful person.
Would you consider coming back to the program one day as a mentor?
Absolutely. When I'll get the right experience, right knowledge, and right approach, then I will.
I have your answer on camera, Elena.
So I'm an IT project manager. I'm a contractor. Very active in the PMI community. I've been a mentor for probably 5 or 6 years now. So I really enjoyed the program, and I'm glad to be part of this.
Why stay a mentor for 5 years? Like, why invest so much time in this?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that we can do as the project management community is to give back. So the best learning tool as a PM is running into problems in projects and deal with bad projects. And that's the best way to learn. And if I can share some of my experiences and help people out so they don't go through as much pain as I have over the years, I think that's a good thing.
What kind of pain?
Oh, well, dealing with, like schedule overruns, bad contractors, ITs, like things go completely sideways, data issues. I've had instances where like databases get wiped and lots of different things, right? So work in different industries and deal with a lot of it's high pressure, high stress. I myself was a protege in the program back in 2008, and dealing with senior project managers who helped guide me was invaluable. And I just thought that was a great resource to have, and I'd like to be able to keep contributing that back to the community.
We'd love to keep having you back in the community.
I hope so.
What has been maybe the best interaction or connection you've made through the program? Perhaps the highlight of the past 5 years doing mentorship with PMI and so on?
To me, it's connecting with the proteges. I actually keep in touch with almost all of them at this point. We actually kind of build our own kind of a mini network and whatnot. And again, it's just I learn just as much from them as they do from me. Just the fact that they're exposed to different scenarios, different industries, different companies. They might encounter some problems that I might encounter. Also dealing with new generation of project managers, new issues, projects that have come up. There's always generational gaps. Dealing with, like as a project manager, the resources, dealing with more like baby boomers, the Gen X, Gen Y, to the millennial generation. That's something that I struggle with in trying to figure out like different motivations for your project team and whatnot. So hearing some of the younger proteges coming through, they have a different perspective on project management, IT in general, which has been invaluable to me. It keeps my mind fresh, keeps me learning, forces me to keep an open mind on what I do for a living.
Awesome. That's it for me.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How was the session?
I love it. I love
Yeah?
actually talking to mentors. And I got so much important information.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like I'm doing consulting business, so 3 mentors, consultants they have or had their consultancy firms.
Okay.
So even during the session, I already learned things about running the firm.
Do you have your own consulting business?
Yeah, I just started. This month, so I am a newbie. The only one thing I've done by now is just registered my company, so I need a lot of tips and advice how to do it.
Okay.
And I was so lucky to come to this meeting. The 3 mentors already have their firms, and
You
some
know
of them
what?
are running for like 15 years.
Wow.
And wow, it's a real good place to be.
I think like it was a great fit for you, might not have been the best fit for other people, so lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me.
So how long have you been in Vancouver?
4.5 years.
4.5? Okay, and what were you doing before consulting?
You mean in Vancouver or
Yep,
in my
in
country?
general.
In general, I've changed maybe 10 professions in my life. I started as an electrical engineer. My first master's is in electrical engineering. Then I traveled a bit and tried to find myself. So I ended up here in Vancouver, finished MBA and became a project manager and Scrum Master. And that's how I ended up with my consulting firm.
I wanted to ask you because I wanted to speak to the caliber of people in this program. You're saying you have a master's in electrical engineering, you're a project manager, a Scrum Master, you have an MBA.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
Okay. And you're still looking to be mentored and to learn.
Yeah, I'm overeducated, but unfortunately underexperienced compared to my education. So I need a mentor to get me some knowledge about the kind of part of this job.
Works for me, but I'll be hard on you as a mentor because anybody I interview with as a mentor and a protege, I tell them very hard, very specifically that you have to come up with some strong goals and objectives, and I will hold you accountable to meet those goals and objectives. So yeah, I'm absolutely game for that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so going back to the past decade, how was that like? Going from, did you inherit the program from someone else?
Yeah, I kind of took it over from, I think it was John Maw who started the whole thing. And John's great. He had a lot of documentation, exactly what needed to be done, when it needed to be done. He had the Gantt charts, all the documentation, similar to what I gave you. So it wasn't difficult to take on that responsibility. We tweaked it and modified it and adjusted it accordingly. But it was, for me, just because of my personality too, it wasn't that difficult to do 3-4 intakes. We're doing 4 intakes a year now. It's a process, right? And for me, it's a very repetitive process. You do 4 intakes a year times X many years. It just comes naturally after that long, right? So yeah, it was easy to do. It's not complicated. I do miss the components of interacting with the participants and having those discussions at the dinner events when we do our feedback sessions. I love that kind of interaction. I love selling the program. So I'd go to the dinner events and I'd cruise the tables saying, I haven't seen you in the mentorship program, and introduce myself, right?
I do the same thing now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get good discussions going on that. You get people who have never heard of the program, which means the chapter needs to do better to market the program. You're doing some really good stuff on social media now. I love that. So we'll see the program grow. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
You mentioned the chapter. Why did you initially get involved with the chapter?
When I got certified, it's been a long time. 15 years now, something like that. I've been involved with the chapter, something like that.
Do you remember what triggered the involvement? Because we have a lot of project managers, I'm guessing, listening to this. Why would they be involved with the chapter? They have a job, they have a career path. Why that extra step?
Because it's the right thing to do. So as a project manager, I need to be around other project managers. I need to continue my training to get my PDUs. The chapter is a great way to get PDUs. For me, volunteering with the chapter is hugely rewarding. And once I found this program, it was such a great program. It's hugely rewarding for me. It just made sense. The dinner events is something that I absolutely love, going to those dinner events. The chapter does at subsidized rates, so you're getting such good value. You get a good meal, a good discussion. You meet an opportunity to meet other people and do some networking at a great rate. Why wouldn't you go to a dinner event? Just why people don't go doesn't make sense to me. Next Wednesday, I'll be going to the one next Wednesday on the 24th, right? Yeah, absolutely.